can't tell. Are we ready to rock and roll? It doesn't look like we're muted.
There.
This is recording up top.
It is recording. We're good.
All right, screen mute. I think we're good to go. Okay. All right. So with that, let's call this meeting to order at 01 with the flag salute, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Approval of the agenda. I do think there's some additional items that wanted to be added. June meeting discussion.
Yeah, I had put it down under board discussion, but yes, I'm curious if we can change the date for June's meeting. There's supposed to be a home summer league boys basketball game that night.
Okay, so let's look at, so we want to discuss, so under new business, Laura, we want to add a 5 something for June, and I think we wanted to discuss July meeting too. Because we
Yes.
won't have power, so can we discuss June and July's board meeting? All right. Any other adjustments to the agenda besides the additional new business for board meetings?
Do we need to put it under new business if we have questions about our responsibilities for graduation? Or is that just board discussion?
Can we do board discussion?
Mhm.
No, that's board discussion.
Yeah.
That's where I put it.
All right, well, hearing no other additions, we'll approve the agenda with the amendments under new business. Move right into our consent agenda, which is very small this evening with just a couple items. Is there a motion to consider?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
All right, so the motion to approve as presented. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, and there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I had a question in the minutes. It stated, Russ is stated in the minutes. However, he's not listed as an attendee. I believe he was late, but he was present.
Call out. So we can make that adjustment and then we can still approve with the adjustments made. So,
Mhm.
so there's a motion and a second, and there's an adjustment. Can we take a vote for that? Laura,
Jamie,
Yes.
Ristine,
yes.
Soren,
Yes.
Russ.
Yes.
Patron comments. And I know we do have one that Soren is going to read on behalf of the patron this evening. Or any additional ones? Okay, so Soren, I'll let you go ahead and read that.
I have a patron comment from Deb Lindberg. It says, tonight I would like to take a moment and thank the students in the art class for all their hard work. As you go around town, you can see the efforts they are making in helping businesses such as mine. Class not only repainted my sign, but one of the students redesigned it. It looks fabulous. As a business owner and a community member, I am proud of all their efforts. As these students get older and go through town, they will look at not only my sign, but John Boy's and now the Grange signs, and know they were a part of making our town just a bit nicer. For all their hard work, when I return, I will be making a donation to the art class on behalf of Deb's Cafe.
Thank you. And then Laura, we'll send that to you, get that into.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, that concludes patron comments, and we'll move directly into reports. So, Ms. Mira, you are up with your super report.
I spent a lot of April running. I met with the LBL ESD about next year's contract and the services needed. Been working with both Mr. Staley and Ms. Bozier to look at what we need for financial help from them, as well as special education services. We're actually looking at using LBL ESD to bring all of our special education services, including the Learn at Home, to one site, because currently now Ms. Bozier is running between two different service provider organizations, one for Learn at Home and one for brick and mortar. So we're looking at bringing all of those services for both Learn at Home and brick and mortar to the LBL ESD. And we also, it'll save us money as well. Went to the Small Schools Conference. It was great. I attended an off the record meeting in Portland for the state. It was for superintendents throughout the state. We're really talking about the pressing issues in Oregon, including a lot of the state school funding issues, current civil service levels, student services, policy issues, priorities. I'm getting on a work group with COSA to kind of talk about the needs around the student services. So that would include mental health services, chronic absenteeism. So I will be joining a work group for that. Sarah Littlefield and I met with Smart Reading to bring that into our elementary school next year. One of the things that we're looking at is actually having our high schoolers participate in it as well and opening up for the community and maybe putting it into one of our classes. And so we're thinking, depending on numbers, we want to do K-3, but we might start out K1 just to get it going. Pre-ETS, which is YTP, Dawn and I are meeting with them next week to talk about contracts. We had a great staff appreciation week. We had 4 days of awesome stuff. We had Eric cooked us breakfast one morning. We bought new staff shirts. Laura put on a taco bar. We did coffee cards. It was great. The staff loved it. They in fact told us that they would like to have a staff luncheon every month from now on. It was great. And then the bathrooms are pretty much 99% percent completed in the facilities in the 4 through 6th grade wing. We're just waiting on doors. But Keenan did a great job. We're continuing to clean up grounds. We're talking summer projects and needs right now, replacing boards on the grandstands, windows, different things like that. And it's hard because of all the other construction that's happening. So we've been working a lot with Chris and Nancy to decide like, how do we do it? We are closing the building from June 24th to August 9th. It will be an active construction site. So legitimately you'll have to wear a hard hat when you come in. Our gym will be done the last week of July and the first week of August, which means nobody can actually be in on the gym. So we have told our staff that the only people who can be on campus would be maintenance employees and administration. If they need to get on campus, they have to call us so we can prepare for that. So that's quick and easy. The one other thing I have to add is I will be going to the legislature, not next week, but the week after to accept an appointment, an executive appointment for the Fair Appeals Board for the school administrators for the state of Oregon. So I'll be doing that. A lot of what that will be is just that board is the say on if administrators feel as though they were unfairly dismissed. And so I will be doing that to testify in front of the House committee or whatever they are. We've also put on here the award letter. We received an award letter that we got the $2.4 million for the seismic. So once Chris and Nancy get back from Scotland, we'll start moving forward on those things. ZCS was actually on campus last week looking at 2 other projects that we could apply for the seismic retrofit. And so he thinks that we have a good chance to get them all. And so really excited about this one. This one is for the gym and office area. So I don't know. I'm assuming that we would do construction, not this coming summer, but next summer, but I don't know for sure. And then I threw another attachment up for the COPS grant. This is the Office School Violent Prevention Program through the U.S. Department of Justice. And this actually is a program that actually helps provide improved school security. And so things that you could do is coordination with law enforcement, training, allowable, but equipment is really what we would go for, equipment and technology. The 2 things, Keenan, Nathan, and I have been meeting with a company that is going to help us write it and give us ideas. The main things we would look at would be a PA system for the entire campus, which we currently don't really have. And actual replacing of the doors and the hardware on the door. So if the doors, number one, when you walk out, they would automatically shut. But if we needed to lock them down, instead of having to run and lock them down, it would be one button. And so this grant is up to 500,000. We have a match of 25%. So I've been working on it. But I wanted to send that out to you all because this one is very specific about school safety, which we all know we don't have a PA system. And some of our doors have really good locks on them and some of them do not. So those would be our two main priority to focus is on. So we're currently looking at budgets and different equipment out there. And I'm currently writing with the group, the grant, and getting letters. I've gotten support from the Benton County Commissioners, the Benton County Sheriff, Senator Anderson, the Alsea Rural Fire Department, LBL ESC. And so this is really just spent on our security of our building.
That all exterior doors will be
Right
replaced.
now, we're talking about, we're getting how much each door would cost, and then we're gonna decide, but mostly we believe it would be just exterior doors at this point, just based on that. And it would
And with
be,
our wings, that's 2 doors per room. Okay.
and so our big thing, our big thing is our doors are very, I don't want to say they're not safe, but they're really not where they should be. And those doors, they're just open and they're hard to shut. So this idea would be is that we would be able to, it would be a quick shut. If something were to happen, we have a button, we have a panic button. And so I think is a great opportunity for us to increase our safety without really having to spend a lot of our money on it. I do know Harrisburg School District got this grant 2 years ago and they did all doors and it was great. So that's my hope. And then I've been working on this also with another superintendent to kind of get things moving on that. So I just wanted to throw that out there with you on that one. Regular attenders were slowly and surely moving up. We have now looked at, we're starting to run who has the 90% for the semester. Between Learn at Home and us, we were about
It was a lot. It was like-
170 kids
It was like 170.
for 90% or above. We're also looking at 95% for the whole year, and it was like 60 kids. So we're looking at those pieces. The popcorn, I will tell you, the popcorn parties are pretty spectacular. In fact, when they get 10, I have little kids running into my office, be like, okay, when are you gonna make us popcorn? And so they really get it. And even the high school and junior high kids are really jumping into it too. So I think really putting that focus about the importance of coming to school is huge for us. Okay, I think that's it.
Can I ask a couple questions?
Please.
So back up at the beginning, the superintendent report about the ESD for all of our sped services. I'm just kind of curious what all the sped services are. I'm kind of just ignorant of what that is. It's teachers, they get teacher. I don't know what
So the sped services would be the school psychologist. OTs, we currently use it for occupational therapists, I'm sorry. Our speech and language pathologist. We use it for a behavioral specialist. We use it for learning coach or learning consultant, which is somebody who comes in and does the academic testing for special education. So the school psychologist does the cognitive, the learning coach does that, and we'll also support Leslie. What else do we do with it? For special education consulting. So like if I needed help, we use that for that particular piece. The other service, I think that's it. That seems to, yeah. And if we were to have things like deaf and hard of hearing, those are the services we would go physical therapy. But when we talk about occupational and physical therapy, they're not direct services. They're more of consultation to our staff to do those types of services. So. Oh, you made me think about that long paper. I was like, which?
I had a question about the attendance report also.
Yes.
Like when looking at it on paper, there's some numbers are gonna jump out as not looking great. From because it's broken down by class. I know currently, well, like think currently, like when you have a problem with regular attenders, like there's an individual outreach and then there's like the school-wide outreach. If you see a particular class that looks like a problem, is there a threshold at which you address on a class level?
There's not, because specifically when we talk about students in general, I mean, that there becomes FERPA, right? On the class level, that's what we're trying to do with like the popcorn party, is more of that class piece. You know, the unfortunate part, and this is the unfortunate part in the state of Oregon, is that pretty much we do not have any sort of punitive consequences for attendance. They actually passed a law, I believe, last year that said it's no longer a misdemeanor if you don't send your kid to school. And unless your sheriff's department and your court system are willing to help with that, there's really nothing. And so, you know, I go back to about 7 years ago when we were starting to really talk about the chronic absenteeism, and people at OD were like, well, you just really need to tell them how important it is to come to school. And I was like, that's your answer?
Don't we do that with seatbelts already?
Yeah. And so, you know, I think for us, we have to also switch a culture change. It's a culture shift for us, because I think there was a lot of times that we didn't care if they come, we just wanted them on our ADM. And so we're getting that shift of you actually have to come. I wish I could answer that better
Yeah,
for
I
you.
just, looking at some of the
It's
numbers, I
really
was like, I wonder if
significant.
is there ever an indicator or anything you might think about it? It's a classroom problem, not just kids not coming to school. Do they have a reason? Is there ever an indicator?
Well,
Like that, or is that not a?
we do. We have Sarah call, and that's why I think we have that family in a liaison for them to call. But a lot of it is, you know, well, my kid doesn't feel comfortable, so we want them to come so we can have that conversation. So we've had some of those conversations before. I still think though, as a community, both school and a community, district community, we have conversations about what exactly different behaviors are. So when we can address, like, you know, a lot of my kid doesn't want to come to school because of bullying. Well, that's the first time I've heard of that. So come in so we can discuss it and put those pieces in. And I think when we start building that culture, we'll start having that a little bit more. We don't hear it as much. A lot of it is my child missed the bus and we live in Monroe. Or I'm taking a doctor's appointment, I'm taking a mental health day. And so some of these things we are trying to address with those pieces, but I will tell you, yes, our numbers look like, well, they have gone down and our percentages have gone up, because I think there is now a push amongst our students to be at school, and those kids who don't want to come are starting to feel that push. Like, we want you at school.
Just looking at like the significant drop from the 11th grade numbers, it doesn't bode well for them stepping into their senior year of increasing that percentage.
I don't disagree with you. I think,
And this is based on 90%.
no, well, yeah, 90% or higher. There's
Right.
regular tenders.
So basically they've missed
This
3
is-
days that month. Or
No, this
well,
is
there's
saying that
They're
23% of the class has
90% or higher.
Oh, okay.
right.
Mhm.
Right,
So-
but what I'm saying is, but
But
that's
they
a
went
month
from
we calculated, so
78.
Mhm.
with 16 school days in a month or 18, if they miss
Two.
2 days, they're less than 90%.
Mhm. And
Okay, I was just trying to
No,
quantify the
I-
actual days
Okay.
missed.
I appreciate that. I think,
'Cause that's
I,
not much.
Well, and there was an illness.
Because
that
I will
went
say,
through.
like, one of the problems, like when we have doctor's appointments, like it's
Mhm.
all day.
Yep.
Like if you have a 10 o'clock appointment or 11, you know, with the commute, you know, you just don't bring them back normally because it's like you got to feed them lunch, you know.
and by the time you
We
get
try to-
back, it's 2 and school's
Not that
at
that's
3.
every month. for
Yeah.
This isn't
everybody.
excuse versus unexcused.
This is
just simply
your
all
absence,
23%
yep.
of these students are making it 90% of the
And
time.
I will tell you, in April, there was about 2 weeks there. We had a
Yeah.
couple classes where I was like, oh, there's 4 of you. And the teacher was sick. We combined. And so
Yeah.
some of that might be the illness piece.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
what I was just thinking.
And if I remember correctly, wasn't there kind of some error in the report in the
Mm-hmm.
very beginning of this one, or was that something different?
We
No, that was the
Enrollment.
that was the
Oh,
enrollment.
okay, thank you, sorry.
And there was, yeah, there's just some people, and I think we're getting better as they go. But I do think, you know, like it went, like Russ said, when you're talking about 24 days and you miss 2 days, but I don't disagree, the 23%,
Oh,
no.
yeah, we
We go from 78 to 23.
Yeah.
That's like a huge red flag.
Yeah. What I will tell you is that's not an anomaly though. Usually you see very low percentage in the first couple years of elementary. They get pretty high and then they drop again towards the end.
Well, also there was I know just from personal experience, there was a lot of illnesses last month
Mhm.
in the school because guess who got sick because of it.
Yeah,
Truly.
and I do recall that.
Yeah.
So that's probably where those.
I think in general, I like to look at the overall school wide, you know, I think we're seeing it. I will also tell you, I had some conversations with my colleagues who are also noting they're having the exact same issues. There's a lot of school districts whose chronic absenteeism is hitting about where ours is at.
Well, and May's not over yet. We're only halfway through May. So
This
those-
is through May 1st. So this is, yeah,
Okay.
but yeah, April was a rough month.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had one day, I think we actually had 45 kids out. And I was like, yeah, if we do that again, we might have to actually, but yeah, we had 45 kids out. Like my kindergarten class had 3 kids and then the teacher was out. So they just went into the first grade class who only had 10. So
Makes sense.
Not making excuses.
No.
I do know that last month was bad.
Jordan, did you have any other questions?
I had one, but it was answered. Okay, perfect.
I love it when I do that.
The only other thing I was gonna add to that was with the employee appreciation, if the staff really does want something like that every month, it might be beneficial that maybe the board could put something like that on. Not gonna volunteer us every month, but maybe there's something that we can do to also come in and serve lunch with them or something like that.
Yeah, the taco bar was a hit. And really all we did is Laura went and bought a bunch of like just servings and I did 7 pounds of taco meat. And they literally just all day, they'd come in like, do we have any left? I mean, they literally just ate it and it was great. They loved it. I mean, and I think for staff appreciation, it wasn't that expensive. And they were all the staff was very appreciative.
Yeah, to feed our whole staff the taco bar, I spent like $124.
They loved it.
So
All right, into the K-6 May report, so get to keep on going.
Yes, I put our student of the month up for April. We put this on Facebook every month. They not only get to invite, their parents are not only invited to an assembly and they get a certificate, but we also do a $10 gift card to Dairy Queen. I haven't been invited yet to any Dairy Queens, but Dairy Queen loves me when I walk in. I'm like, 7 of these, please. Our 6th grade went to outdoor school, loved it. They were very actually hesitant to go to outdoor school, but we went, I believe we have 16 5th grade. I counted. I think we have 16 6th graders. We took 15 of the 16 and we actually came back a day early just because of Miss Evans' schedule. And we wanted to make sure like we had a bus for them to go home. And they all cried when they got off the bus. We wanted to do the outside camping. And I was like, you know, it's going to rain tonight. Like they were literally had to make their own lean-tos. They loved it. They all got sweatshirts. They wear them all the time. We had 2 parent volunteers who went, who helped, and they just like Miss Evans came back and said it was one of the best things that her class had done. 3rd and 4th graders went to Cape Perpetua. They loved it. They came again, it was raining, so they came back frozen, but that's what happens when you don't bring your rain gear. We actually had a speaker come in on May 1st. Tom Gillis came in to talk to our students, our 3 through 6th graders, and then he did, or 3 through 5th graders, and they did 6 through 12 about really believing in who you are and being focused. And the big thing that we've been talking about in our classes is how we surround ourselves with dream makers, not dream takers. So you are who you put yourself out there with. So how do we be really good role models for people, and how do we make sure that we're leaders and not followers, and we support each other. He was great. I was very nervous about our younger kids because he wanted to talk for 45 minutes and I was like, can we bring it down to 30? They did not have one peep. They literally were so enthralled with him, and he is through a group, and I can't think of exactly what it is, but they put on live video streams every Tuesday where the kids can talk to them, to really kind of talk about character and different pieces like that. The big thing that Tom did is that he talked about, you know, to believe in yourself and to find people who believe in you. And he actually had a kind of a baseball card of himself. He signed it personally and then shook hands with every single kid as they walked out.
Evan just gave me, he had 2 signed cards. He gave me one tonight. He told me all about it.
Yes, and I mean, I was nervous, but they were so enthralled with him and they loved it. And so we're really trying to keep that idea going. And then the 7th through 12th graders did it with him as well. And Tom actually was here till 3:30 and he had kids just like around him wanting, and he talked to every single kid who wanted to talk to him. He did not push them off at all. It was great. They loved it. So the pictures are, Tom's in there in the middle in both pictures. And I was just so proud of all of them. Like they were so respectful. And I just think like his story of how he, he talked about how he wasn't always the best student. He had dyslexia, had ADHD, but all he had to do was really focus on his dream, which was to be a professional snowboarder. And he was from like Wisconsin. And he's like, I just picked up and followed my dream and went to Lake Tahoe. And now look at me. And then our kindergarten and first graders have been working together as a group about social emotional skills, learning skills together. Miss Russell's been doing a lot of big versus small problems. She's been working a lot with the first graders about them being the role models for the kindergartners. So they almost have like the buddy system going. And they do games and read books that really talk about how do you talk about your feelings. So it's been really great. And then iReady, we have that down there. So last month, we're still working on getting our lessons, but we're seeing some really great gains in kids, but we're working on lessons so you guys can kind of see where we're at. We're almost done with our 3rd round of our diagnostic, the end of the year. So I'll present that to the board in June to show kind of where we started and where we went, where we're at now. And then we're almost done with the OSAS test. Next week is junior high and high school. The kids are really doing well. It's the statewide assessment. Miss Kayla and Miss Chelsea have literally been testing them and we haven't really had any major issues. This year it's been a lot about us getting them into test. And the kids have been doing, I mean, they've been doing really well coming in and focusing. So we're very proud of them. So, and that was my report.
Cool. Thank you. All right, so next up is our K through 5 learner home principal report with Ms. Shunk.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. Hi. All right. Well, I'm going to start off and a big shout out to Jamie Olson. We had a visitor. She visited our 2nd grade classroom, and that was a big deal. So thank you very much for that. It was really lovely to have you participate and ask questions and see what our 2nd graders are doing. And we are, the invitation, like I've mentioned, is open for everybody, and we'd love visitors. So I don't know if you can see, if it's up on yours, I don't know if I can get screen sharing ability right now. I'd love to be able to share the pictures, or if you saw them in my report. I don't know who has the power, but I would love to share. Anyhow, okay, so that was really exciting to have you here. And then the next part is I added a link to our April Student of the Month assembly, and where we focus on the character trait of alive and being just, lots of energy and fun. And what does that mean for the world? What does that mean for you? How does that, how do we share our energy with others? It was a lot of fun. Let's see, our Learn at Home Oregon website is updated. Every single piece of wording that was on the original website has now been updated, and it looks fantastic. It has a similar look because the website was beautiful as is, but the website now reflects the depth of work that we're doing in I feel a very accurate and engaging way. So I'm excited about what has gone on there. So I invite you all to check out the website. And then let's see. We had a lot of fun in our exploratory class. It's better shown through pictures, so I hope you're able to see all the pictures. Our exploratory classes have been the biggest hit this year. Kids being able to rotate between each of the teachers has created just a very strong community feel. When we have our assemblies, all of the teachers, applaud and are sending encouragement to all of the students. But this year it feels different because there's that connection. Everybody is everybody's teacher there. So it's really wonderful to see what's happening. Earth Week in kindergarten was really special. Miss Yo did a fantastic job of inspiring a lot of outdoor exploration, and families sent in pictures about what was going on. We had a student who celebrated Earth Day by going through his neighborhood and filling trash, and he wanted to share that with our entire school. And then we have a family that had a lot of mushrooms growing and lots of critters in the backyard, and that's always fun. And another really special thing that happened was our second grade class got together. There was a birthday and they are in person. The mom shared the pictures and videos. And I can't tell you, being online, seeing our students all together in one place, it filled all of our hearts, and singing together and having that community time and connection. And the mom said the kids just came right together, like they had always been together, and it was really a beautiful thing. So that was really special. Each month, like I mentioned, our character traits are very important to us. And so we want to bring them to life and really embody them and discuss them. And so each of the teachers do a really great job of threading that through, math or their reading or whatever it is that they're doing. They are bringing those character traits alive. And so I included their posters that were celebrated during the last assembly. And then our Genius Hour Passion Project presentations are just, and so this is a big reason why I wish I could share my screen right now, but maybe I'll try to figure out how to send this video. I can.
Yes, we're looking at it.
Oh, you can see it? Okay. So just recently though, we got a video. So there was a family. So we have three children in this family are in our school, and a kindergartner, a second grader, and a fifth grader. And the three kids worked together for the kindergartner, the youngest siblings' passion project, and put together an entire recorded show. It was straight out of like the Disney Channel. I have to get this to all of you. This just happened on Monday morning. I could not believe it. It literally could have been on any sort of children's network. It was really that extensive and amazing. But yeah, we had okay, so the dissection, here's the continuation. We actually had a real dissection happen with the owl pellets, and those can also be found on Amazon. So you can get actual owl pellets, real ones on Amazon for dissection purposes. And we had, what I love so much and hold so dearly about Genius Hour is that it's for everybody. It is not just for talented and gifted kids, and that's kind of some schools market it that way, like, okay, well, we'll let the talented and gifted kids do this project, but this is for everyone. And one of the pictures in here is of one of our students who navigates special needs, and he put together an incredible project to share. And his his aunt that works with him, they created a recorded video of him going through the whole thing, and anyways, I'm so grateful that we're bringing this to life in our school, because his smile And his expression during, the recorded presentation it was just what it's all about. And so we were really grateful to see him do that. But yeah, one of the pictures you can see, there was a dad. We have kind of giving that encouragement. So we have families that are participating in the background, and it's just been really wonderful to see. So I'm grateful that that's just taking hold in our environment. And then, yeah, like Krista mentioned, we are working through our OSAS, and I just looked at the most latest data from today as far as completion rate, and we are so close. We're very close to getting all of that. But what goes into OSAS and an online remote testing environment is so much communication and coordination and partnership with the families, so that can happen. iReady, we're seeing really great data coming out of iReady. And the conversation now is, where do we do iReady during, live class time? Do we do that during, between class time? So we're looking at how to maximize that iReady experience so that students are able to practice, but it's not taking away from, that live classroom interaction time. Anyhow, everybody loves iReady. It's been a really wonderful thing that we've been able to incorporate, and so that we can data track and actually see how kiddos are doing, and then create paths and support for everybody in real time. And then at the end, we had our teacher appreciation was, again, this year really beautiful. Lots of beautiful messages coming in, and really grateful to see our teachers feeling appreciated and acknowledged. And we sent our teachers gift cards, and they received a shirt, and felt very much, I think, from years past to this year is just such a huge difference of feeling really acknowledged and incorporated into the district. And so thank you again, thank you again, Jamie, for coming in, and just, we want to keep an open door for everybody and love to share what's going on in there. Any questions? Oh, I have an update on the videos. So last time you said, hey, let's get some videos going. So actually all of our entire staff are making little kind of intro videos that are going to live on our website, so that families that go to the website are going to be able to see and hear from our teachers live, or not live, but in videos. And then maybe we'll throw them on YouTube too, and social media.
Thank you so much.
I highly recommend, if you get an opportunity, to spend some time in there. It was really remarkable.
Love it. Yes.
Thank you.
I still want to go to online school.
I wish I would have had it.
I mean, I like going to brick and mortar personally, but I don't go to that online school.
Thank you, Michelle. All right. 7 through 12 principal report, Mr. Rothenberger.
All right, here we go. All right, let's get ready here. All right, how we all doing? Good? Good. It's been a great day. I just came back for the state track meet, and Tamara did a great job. She PR'd, but unfortunately did not get to the finals tomorrow, but she did a great job. It's a beautiful facility, except for it's too green and yellow, but that's okay. And so tomorrow Paisley runs, and we wish her well on the 1500. So it was good to see. From my desk, things are going pretty well. Things are moving fast. As you can see on my weekly activity reports and then my board report, I'm starting to put some important dates. I started that 3 weeks ago. I put important dates. The prom is tomorrow night. Thank you, Miss Neerath, for being the head chaperone tomorrow night at the Beazle Farm. And senior banquet's May 30th. Senior trip is the 3rd through the 6th. And you'll be getting some information on that, I believe. We'll be going to Sun River. Graduation is June 7th. 6th, 7th, and 8th grade awards and promotion night. I didn't put the date on there. It's June 13th I gotta look at my calendar. I'll look that up as I'm talking out loud here. Okay. CTE students participate in welding contest at LPCC. I dropped them off. They were also nervous, bright and early in the morning, and but they had a good time, and they saw there's students from all over. And then they are in the process of making that new LC grain sign. I looked at it today. And Mr. Seth is doing a good job with his class there. High school PE, the high school health class filmed it, had videos on how to say no to drugs and alcohol. Middle school health, fantastic drawings illustrating the immune system. And Ricky did a tremendous job there. And then Rod's doing tremendous with his elementary PE, finishing up the throw and catch unit. Social studies, I guess all U.S. history have A's in U.S. history. Science, big week in science. If you didn't hear rockets going off at our school, then something was wrong. We had rockets flying all over in every field, well, we better not say that out loud here, okay? But they did a good job. We had to go down to smaller engines. Our engines were too big and we couldn't rescue some of the rockets, actually. So the kids had a great time doing it. It was in the kinders in the first grade went over and watched the rockets. I heard it all the way home from my son, and now we have to do some rockets here, I guess. Art class painted section in the gym, student section, thumbs up for that. Making marionette puppets, those came out yesterday. I don't even know if I said that right. It's pretty cool though. Actually, he brought it into my office, and actually it was really nice. English freshmen are in the middle second act of Romeo and Juliet. Makes you kind of sing that song, doesn't it? They have been reading the play out loud in parts, and they are doing a fantastic job. She was absolutely astonished by the job they're doing. The kids are really getting into it. Culinary after school program last week ended today, I believe, in the contest. Every class has had a great turnout, and the students are showing great potential. The high school culinary class is working diligently researching recipes and testing them, as well as creating them for their final project, which is the hamburger and side competition. Math.
You are invited, board members, to be the judges on May 31st of the hamburger inside competition if you would like to.
I'm allowed to invite the board members.
Well, I just did. So
Oh,
I
okay.
I got to taste some. It was really good. I'm the practicer.
I will believe you. Yeah. June 11th will be 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Awards night and promotion night, by the way, June 11th. Math, with the exception of Algebra 2, all class averages have gone up in mathematics. The 8th graders have started their final chapter of the year. 3 class behaviors have improved dramatically, and Algebra 1 is showing a turnaround in classroom culture. Middle school athletics, we've been having some kids do a great job up at McKenzie, and then the other day, where did they go? Willamette High School, and we have some kids that are going to be in the Meet of Champions next Thursday at Corvallis High School. I think we have 2 or 3 athletes that have qualified for that. So, from the secretary, she just launched Facebook ad campaign on May 1st, and so far they have reached 9,700 people and driven 130 people through our webpage for registration. And she started, I don't know, has anybody seen the senior spotlights she's been putting on Facebook?
Yeah.
Nicole did a tremendous job on that. I had some seniors wondering why they haven't been up yet, and I had to explain that we're doing about every 2 days, we're doing a different spotlight. We make sure we don't hurt anybody's feelings. Academic advisor Kayla's rolling. She's very busy helping Nicole Krista test for state testing, but forecasting sheets, and we're excited that they were able to play a part in building the schedule for next year. It has been a fun week. We're talking with Kayla and Krista and how we're going to look at some different ways of our schedule next year and move our lunch early and those kind of things. Transportation. All buses are mechanically in good shape and running well. Krista, at what point do you want me to wait to talk about the other 2 buses?
That's under new business.
Okay. I just didn't know if you wanted me to keep going because I'm kind of ready to roll right now.
One question for you, in regards to senior banquet, do board members need to be present, or what does that look like this year? I know that it's gone back and forth between
we're never gonna tell, we will never tell a board member no, and we'll have a table for you guys and staff there if you guys would like to attend. We will be getting you invitations this next week, so we know, because there's, we gotta order the barbecue chicken or barbecue beef. So, we have kind of been working, yeah, we kind of been working more towards prom, because our prom advisor is also senior banquet advisor. And so she's been pretty busy with the prom. With that, graduation is going to be indoors this year. And we're going to have chairs on each side with a path down the middle. Our students will be up on the stage. And we've got some ideas for how that's going to work. Some of our staff is going to be in hoods and gowns this year. And we have quite a few more, well, I shouldn't say quite a few, about 4 or 5 more scholarships that are going to be announced that evening also. So, and I believe that's it. We'd love to have you guys present, just like we had last year was my first year, but up on the stage, when kids get announced, they shake your hands and Krista gives her congratulations speech and we go from there.
I don't know.
I think I can safely say on behalf of a lot of community members, thank you for bringing that tradition back to our district.
Which tradition? Which one?
The indoor graduation ceremony.
Oh, I've done outdoor. We're never doing those outdoor. Sorry. I've done outdoor.
I can just say, I know a lot of community members feel very passionate about that and we're very disappointed over the past few years. And so I greatly appreciate tradition being honored.
I believe it. What pushed us out was COVID, though. That pushed every school in the state out, didn't it?
I
We had
think
a
the
drive-through
first
there.
year.
For one,
too,
for one,
but-
for 1 year.
Yeah,
So
the
was 30 people registered for? No,
There are I believe
Brick and
for
mortar.
school brick and mortar or
Yep.
for,
there's the pre-registration.
okay.
Yep.
Sorry, I was just. Like, where are we pulling 9,700 people from? I was like,
Well, great work. I think this is outstanding. All of this. Thank you so much. We will wait to hear more about buses in just a little bit.
I will be here waiting.
And for senior spotlights, is that just informational for us so we can scroll through and see them?
Yeah, you can. And we wanted to make sure we put them on the record as well.
Yes.
Also, I think you got a picture of the sign, didn't you? That
Yeah.
we,
Mhm.
okay.
that's beautiful. I want one of those. I don't know what I wanted to say, but
You need to name your farm.
All right, Mr. Staley, you're up. Microphone is off though.
He's been doing a side lesson.
All right.
Took me 3 meetings. Anyway, financial statements were in the board packet. I did a summary again of the highlights. I'll try to go over those so the public can hear it too. Major changes in the financial statements was state school support. At that time when I did this, we were unaware. I kind of knew what it was going to be, but you'd rather give good news rather than put it down and then be bad news. The district's going to receive around $340,000 more dollars in 22-23. And the reason for that is, if you looked at the sheets that I handed out during the budget, you'll see a lot of reserves in there. Well, those reserves are taken out, so it increased the per student amount. In addition, I knew our taxes were less than what was put in there. So we got more dollars back because of that, because you have to think of the state school support as an advance. And then what they do is they take all the audited figures, I've gone over this before, they get all the audited figures, all the student numbers, and they recalculate it again. And so I was pretty close if we were going to get 250 to 300,000, but I didn't want to use it. Because then if you put it on there and then it comes back, then you want to know why. So, but anyway, we're getting about 342,000 more May payment. Some districts lost money. I was a business manager's meeting on the Zoom, and there's a couple of districts that got cut back pretty hard, and they didn't know what was going to happen. So,
Yeah.
I don't want this district to ever get in that. I try to stay on top of the numbers.
question on that. What would cause a district to get cut back? That might be a sidebar conversation, but I just feel like it might be a
Okay,
good
well,
place to
they
have
do,
the knowledge.
When you put in your, I'll just tell you what I have always done. I monitor the numbers, and as they change, I ask the ODE to open it up again, and I put new numbers in, like for transportation or student numbers. I don't leave it as what it was originally put in. And some districts, I believe, don't monitor it. And so they are getting this money in every year, every month,
Okay.
but it's based on a higher amount than what's actually going to happen.
So you adjust actuals.
I adjust the transportation based on where we're going, or if I know the student numbers are wrong, your financial statements, I don't show it what the state has because I know they haven't adjusted it yet. You see, I always have a hard time, and I think districts have a hard time on the poverty numbers, the small high school numbers, all those that are generated by the state through formulas. And I think a lot of them aren't conservative. I think you know me, I'm conservative. Been through the other side, and you learn the hard way. But I think that's where they are. And a couple districts are hurting right now. And you just have to read what's happening to Salem and
Yeah.
Portland and Barry. You just have to read what's happening.
Crazy.
I think it's just good to know what can cause that so that as we learn and grow as a district and board, we
Yeah.
keep asking those questions and knowing that. So
Right,
thank
yeah.
you for that knowledge.
Because we've heard about this May surprise in the past, and it sounds like if you have someone that's maintaining the numbers and constantly watching, it's not that big of a surprise.
Well, I think you also have, I've been there on the opposite end. To be honest, I have put the numbers there, but the superintendent doesn't agree with my numbers because of program changes. So then you get in a battle that way, but that's not the case here with the superintendent, the board, and me. I mean, we talk the same language. Staff talk the same language. But some places they get in where they promise things and then they can't keep following, the dollars aren't there to maintain those programs. The hardest thing, and Tristan knows this, is there's grants out there. They want you to start a program, but how do you keep that program going
Yep.
on?
Mhm.
And so I think a lot of districts use ESSER monies.
Yeah.
That way. But they were one-time monies. And so then lo and behold, those programs are going and they try to keep them and they have to go back to the general fund. I think that's some of the problem, but I always worry about where I'm at, not what other people are doing.
Okay.
So anyway, that's where the state school support is. Earnings, can't complain about a 5.2% of the money that we have in there. That's helping the bond out also. I shared that in there. That won't hold true down the road, I'll tell you, because as we do the bond, those dollars in there will be going down, so there'll be less earnings for the bond. 1960, I went through all the PERS. That's an annual process, and I don't know if it was done here before, but I did it. Go through to make sure that the payments that we've made on people qualified for PERS, they don't do it. You have to do it. And then you send it to PERS. You question. These people didn't work their 600 hours that there was contributions made to them because it only has to work 600 hours in a year to maintain their status in PERS. If they don't work that, then they lose their status and they don't have those earnings coming back to them. So that's why that went up this last year, because we collected those dollars based on those. And then we got the money from not FEMA yet, but we got the money from the insurance, 5,000, and we still have $1,000 coming from FEMA, so there will be no cost to the district on damages over here. Other than that, in the expenditures, Kristen and I think I mentioned it before, we went through all the workload for employees to get them in the right program so that our MOE is accurate and not overstated, because that impacts the general fund and the IDA dollars. Spring Sports are in there for the 1132. That's why it changed. 2540, that was for the gym. Half of it this year, half of it next year. And 2660 is technology. That's for your cameras and what Krista and Nathan went through to get that refund and then put that in there. So that's major changes in the general fund is pretty status. We have everything covered, and Bren and everybody are true campers. They are. They're really on time. It's kind of nice having the staff. They know the system now. It makes life easy.
Running like a well-oiled machine.
Well, the procedures are in place and everybody knows what they're supposed to do. That's what's good. So, special revenues requested all the third quarter claims, and then Krista gets an email that they wanted to claim all the SIA and the early intervention even before we have the expenditures because they want them out of the state dollar. So I said, okay, I claimed them all, so we can put it in the bank and make 5.2% interest. So that's another $700,000. So we will spend it by September 30th, but we'll have the money making interest there. So why let it sit down at the state if they want to give it to us? Other than that, we're monitoring all the grants because they come due on June 30th, and then some of them are on September 30th. So we don't want to get any dollars back. So debt service, gone through that in the budget. There's nothing left. I mean, no change there. Capital projects, that's those dollars in reserve, still the board discretion how to use that. And then the bond, which Chris and Nancy have gone, we are totally in balance on that. So their report equals what we have in our books. Monitor that. What I did provide you in your statements, which I would like to go over, is analysis of the food service program. Right now, transfer money in there, and because you're a small district, you will always transfer money in there. There is no question. And you're also dependent on Corvallis presently because they provide services to us, both in purchasing and delivery and that. So I have a sheet in there just to show you what you receive per meal and what the cost is per meal and the allocation of those costs by category. And Eric and Roxy and Krista and I go over this every month and monitor it. We also just got through, Laura and I got through working with the state on the community eligibility program. That's the percent has gone up in that, so we'll get more dollars next year. In that program, we're going to be a district-wide. We're qualifying for another 4 years. So, but the cost of the program is around $84,000. You'll see $38,000 in there. That's the fee to Corvallis for the services they provide. And so, like Krista and I have been discussing, how do we assume that role here?
So that's not counting any food. That's just
That's
for
the
them.
service of them doing the purchasing and delivery.
Holy moly.
And
Time to
so-
get us a cafeteria that's a certified kitchen.
Yeah, so how we've been discussing how we can do it, you know, because right now, it's a change of the law, you know, and you can't just do it overnight.
That'd be something we could look at with the hub.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, so I just bringing this to your attention. This is the first awareness, and Krista and I are very aware of how we're going to do it because you have to have the proper facilities to do it too. Because right now you don't have the proper facilities. And so how can we do this? And because it's a long term, you don't want to be totally dependent forever.
Yeah.
So we have to think of how to get out of the box and do that. And the next thing, part of this food service, and I've told Krista, we have about 61% of the kids that are participating in the program, and that's very consistent. Well, every child can eat free here. 39 are not eating. 39% of the kids are not using the food service program. And the question is, why? When it's free, is it the quality of the food? Is it the mindset about eating here or whatever? So if you're losing 39% there, that's a big dollar when nobody's paying. So that's just something you have to look at.
Are you able to get that information broken down by grade? Not that we necessarily need that, but
Dawn?
that 39%.
Dawn,
What's that?
could you get the 39% per grade? Like how many people per grade are eating?
Yes, I can.
I don't think that the
Yes,
board
I can.
necessarily
I-
needs
I
that
just
information,
have
but it
it
might
all-
be
I know
helpful. And
every student that's eating.
I was just thinking it might be helpful for
And
you guys to the
and
operations
I
side.
can break it down with Laura and Nathan by grade, because I know the students, but I don't know the grade. Yeah, we can do that.
I don't know that you need
I
to
got two
include that in
people
your.
that can
Just
figure
wondering
it
if
out.
it's mostly high schoolers or. most,
Yeah,
you know,
like, is there a-
It's
yeah,
another-
is there a
it's another
category to
number
it?
to look for analysis, like you were looking, what sticks out and how you can deal with it. I imagine it's the high schoolers because they walk over, that's every school.
To the
Close the
market.
campus down.
Well, no, you're not gonna do that, but, it's just it's something you have to look at.
I mean, are we wasting food because we're not serving the 39%? Are we ordering for the 61%?
I think Eric's monitoring that
Mhm.
based on, it's very consistent, so
Right.
he's ordering based on that because he doesn't want to waste it.
Well,
He
right.
sees the same numbers, I send it to him too, so.
I just didn't know if because if we are providing it, we had to like provide a meal per person.
No, what happens is every morning kids actually say if they're gonna eat or not. And so he actually has a trend, like
Yeah.
he knows with certain meals, so he orders, yeah, there's very, very few like waste.
Right.
But another thing you have, and like I told Chrissy, you're never going to get to the perfect, you're never going to get to a profit because you don't have the population. Like when I was in Candy, when you have 1,800 kids in high school, you only have 4 or 5 staff and you have all your various things and you monitor your sandwich bars and your all these things, but you don't have that option here. So it makes it more difficult because you're going to need 2 people in that place. You just can't get away from it.
Thanks.
Thank you for that.
As always.
Any questions?
I get to see you next week.
Yes, and thank you, because the way you present budgets and numbers is outstanding, and just thank you very much
I
for
appreciate
that.
it. Thank you.
All right, bond update, is that you, or did you just want us to read it? So
Just
we
read
all
it.
got that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's going well. I think they actually delivered the steel for the building today.
Nice.
Yesterday. And so now I don't know the exact word, but it's pretty much it's airing out. But I think it'll start going up in the next week. So
So excited.
it what? Yeah, they poured last Friday and we went around and put, started pouring at 5:30 in the morning. They poured 117 yards of concrete.
Yes. It was crazy.
Yeah, and so it's going and I will say that Todd Construction is great to work with. A couple of our staff have asked to go out and look around and Josh, who's the site superintendent, actually gives them hard hats and wanders around with them and they ask questions. And so it's gonna go quick.
Excuse me, next up is our student enrollment.
You guys can see the monthly breakdowns. I know we see the numbers going down. I'm gonna tell you, we have actually told students who are outside of our areas if, sorry.
That outlet doesn't meet code.
We want them to be at school. So there have been some kids that we have said you need to go back to your home district because they're only attending 48% of the time. I do think though, we're really doing the Facebook push. I think that we're bringing both our Learn at Home and our in-district or in-building staff are really pushing. I think our hope is that number will go up to our goal is 290 next year. And so I think we can get it. I am a little concerned of kindergarten numbers. I've kind of asked around and there's not a lot of kindergartners in the area that people know about. But our hope is that we'll reach out there to get them. But in small schools, unfortunately, that's kind of the cycle. Some days you have lots of kids in lots of classes, and then, I saw it in my previous district where I graduated 21 year and 3 the next. And so it's just a cycle. And so we really are pushing very hard out to show our area what great things are happening. So
Any questions on enrollment?
There was a lot of babies born last year.
All right, safety, Laura?
Oh my goodness. So we're continuing to meet monthly, and Mrs. O'Brien and I did the third quarterly walk around just to double check. There is nothing glaring outside of things that have already been discussed that Krista and Keenan already know about and are aware of and will be taken care of after school gets out with the playground. We're going to replace the pea gravel with birch.
That's
treated
our
birch
hope.
chips.
that's our
Hoping,
hope.
yes. And then of course the doors and things like that. So, but everything's looking good.
Any questions? All right, well, let's jump into our new business. First up is the WLA ASD transportation contract. for the
So-
board to review.
So this is a transportation contract between Willamette Leadership Academy and us. There was a contract put into place on October 14th, 2021. It was brought to the board about a year and a half ago because we had this contract, but it never was approved by the board. The current one is up as of July 31st, 2024, but when speaking to WLA, we would prefer it be within the fiscal year. So we both agreed that we would start, if we had a contract, it would start July 1st. It would run for only 2 years. The contract presented to you was ran past Richard Cohen Lee at the Hungerford Law, who is our district law firm. It just really outlines the responsibility of each party and the legal parameters set forth. Major changes we did put in there is that we would only purchase 2 buses a year if they needed to, which Mr. Rothenberger will talk on the next go around. We've increased the administrative cost up by 0.5% to 4%. Is that 5%? Just because of our administrative costs, and it hadn't changed in 5 years. When I spoke with WLA, they actually appreciated the agreement and they were happy that it was a 2-year and not a 5-year. But pretty much what it lays out is that if anything were to happen, like what with Kings Valley, it would be the same thing. They would take over the buses, they would pay out anything that we rent to them. Currently, we rent 2 buses to them. They would send back to us or they would purchase outright. So.
All right, thank you for that overview. Is there a motion to consider?
I motion to approve the transportation services agreement between LC School District and Willamette Leadership Academy that begins July 1st, 2024 and ends June 30th, 2026 as presented.
Okay, thank you. So there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All right, oh, sorry, what?
So it's pretty straightforward.
All right, go ahead, Laura.
Take a vote. Soren,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes,
Jamie,
Yes.
Russ.
Yes.
thank you. Let's move into the WAASD bus purchases. Mr. Rothenberger, are you gonna present on that?
Yeah, I can. Along with that contract and stuff with WLA, they have buses that are getting very old and over 2 of them over 300,000 miles. And so with that being said, we met with Western Bus and we have a agreement, 10-year lease worked out for 2 77 passenger buses. WLA will pay the monthly rates on those, and that's basically the gist of the whole thing. They're also increasing next year. They feel like they're at 5 routes right now. They feel they're going to go to 6.
So they will have a total of 7 buses.
All right, thank you for that overview. Is there a motion to consider?
I motion to approve resolution 24-07 as presented.
Thank you for the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any discussion? Go ahead, Laura.
Okay. Christine,
Yes.
Soren,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Russ.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Is that really, no, that's not our only 2 new businesses. We need to discuss under 5C, June and July's board meetings. So first, in June, there's a conflict on that day. June,
Yep.
can you actually give a quick overview of that conflict?
It's my birthday.
Oh, well. there
That
is
too.
that. Okay, we can't have a meeting on Russ's birthday.
There is currently scheduled a home summer league basketball game that evening
On
at
June
5
13th.
on June 13th.
Totally fine with moving the meeting.
Okay,
And I believe there are multiple games in the evening, so it goes a couple of hours.
for the consideration of the staff, is the board open to looking at the week of the 17th, since there might be some planning and things going on in the school that we might want to move to the next week to allow them to.
Okay, say that again, sorry.
I was just thinking.
I mean, like on the 20th or on a different day.
Well, I
of
was
the week?
thinking on the week of, like, we could do June 20th or just that week of the 17th, just thinking that if we moved it a day before, even though that might clear up the day, it may not help it, like Mr. Rothenberg might need to be there, but you know, so there might be a busy week.
The 19th is a holiday, so there's no staff working on that day.
What about like June 20th or the 18th?
I mean, schools, the last day of school is the 13th,
There's
right?
also
Oh.
games away on the 18th, so that's a conflict for me, but the 20th is free.
Okay.
I just mean like that week in general is probably really busy because
You're
it's the
right,
last week
it's
of
the last
school,
week of
so I'm
school.
fine with moving it to the week of the 17th to the
Mhm.
20th or
I would
21st.
appreciate that.
Okay, so.
I mean, the
how's-
20th works on a
Yeah.
Thursday for me. I don't know about everyone
Works
else,
for me.
since we usually do it on Thursdays.
June 20th looks good for me, sorry. All right, so we'll go ahead and, I'm gonna pencil in June 20th really quick on this note. And then, Chrissy, can you discuss the July meeting, because we will be out of power, I do believe, and we talked about, do we need it, do we want it, what does that look like?
So when is the July meeting on the 18th?
I have it on the 11th.
Yeah,
Oh, well, we're definitely gonna be out of power. We could move. I mean, the hard part is really in July. If we move it the next week to the 20, or if we move it to the 18th, we know we won't have power. We move it to the 25th, we really may not have power still. Dawn, I don't know if there's tons that we really need to do in July.
yep,
So I mean,
that's June, so we have to vote on we have to vote on new leadership and.
oh, I thought that was the July meeting.
School board organization.
Yeah, no, that's the July meeting.
July meeting.
Mhm.
Okay,
Can we
so
do
then-
that remote?
I
Could,
was just gonna say, could we just do a remote board meeting in July?
we could, I would ask though that we don't do it the 11th because I will be out of country. And if,
You don't want to take your cell phone and use them on the school board.
Sorry. No, I don't actually. I could do the 8th. I think we would need to do it remotely. Well, I know we would need to do it remotely.
18th.
The 18th, I should be back in the country.
Well, we need you, you're integral to this process, so is there a different day,
What about like the 22nd?
Monday?
Or the 23rd, somewhere in there? Because then really and truthfully, I won't be back till the 16th and we should have it out. Could we maybe do it? Let's do it the 25th. What's the 25th of July look like for everybody? Okay, let's do it the 25th, because then that'll help us do the agenda, Laura. And really the major piece on the agenda is the organizational chart. So that gives Laura time to start working on it and things like that. And then we would also, hey, Dawn, at that time too, on the 25th, would we want the insurance company to maybe join us remotely as well? And we could talk about the services that, yes. So that could be the 2 major things, is the organizational chart and our insurance company. Okay.
All right, so then the motion that will be made is to move June's meeting to June 20th and July 25th. somebody wants to make that motion.
I'll make a motion to move June's board meeting to the 20th and July's meeting to the 25th. Please and thank you.
Right? Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
Great discussion.
I just have a question on the July meeting. So are you gonna be around to build the agenda for that meeting then?
I can build it before I go and let you guys kind of know what I don't think it'll be a big meeting. I think we need to do the organizational piece and just the insurance.
The insurance might be.
With the third,
real short.
And then we'd have a couple days ahead of time if we needed to address anything on that too. So, okay, perfect. So, sorry, there was a motion and there was a second. We've had our discussion. Laura, go ahead.
Soren,
Yes.
Russ,
Yes.
Jamie,
Yes.
Christine.
Yes. Okay, old business. First up in the old business is the K-6 math curriculum adoption.
we've had it out for 30 days. People have had the opportunities to look at it. So I'm just bringing it back to the board now for approval.
We'll consider a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the K-6 math curriculum adoption as written.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, is there any discussion? I have a question. Oh, you go ahead
Oh, I
first.
was gonna say, I honestly, I don't know a lot about how math is taught, and so I look at it. It's hard to know. I have to take the professionals' word for this. That they've selected it, they discussed it, agreed on it. I kind of know what they said.
I just had a question. I think this is one of the first times we're pretty new at making sure we follow, like getting this available to the community to make sure that they're getting their hands on it.
Mhm.
Did we have many community members or parents, staff that took a look at it?
Well, the staff's taken a look. We thought, yeah.
Yeah, the staff is advising us, but
You peeked at it, and that's it.
okay, I was just curious. Thank you.
And we did put it out on Facebook that it was available. So
Thank you for that.
Snooze, you lose.
All right, any other discussion? Go ahead, Laura.
Jamie,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes.
Soren,
Yes.
Russ.
Yes.
All right, motion passes. Resiliency grant update.
I spoke with Chris Quaka 2 weeks ago. He informed me that BCF will actually have to pull out of this grant, mostly because of the time and manpower it would actually take BCF to do. So we're gonna not be able to do this grant because there is no CBO. However, what I am gonna tell you is we are moving forward with looking at with designing a commercial kitchen. My major concern is with budget cuts. Either our costs from Corvallis will increase dramatically, or they will just won't have us. And we can't be in a position where we don't know what to do. And so before Chris and Nancy left for Scotland, Keenan and I sat down with them, and we are gonna hire SodaStream to do up some mock-ups of what the cafeteria could be. Keenan's going out for some quotes on commercial walk-in freezers and fridge. And we're gonna see what a cost would be. I have talked with Chris. He has actually talked with some of his funders, especially about ALSI, about what our need was. They acknowledge that we do need a commercial kitchen. I mean, Chris was like, I'm so glad that he came out, because he said, the first thing he did was we walked in the kitchen. He's like, so where's your kitchen? And we were like, here. And he's like, where's your lunchroom or cafeteria? And we're like, on the stage. And he's like, where do you store things? And I was like, here. So, I mean, he saw the need. And so I'm going to start working with him and working with some grants to see if we can even, if let's say, for example, the remodel is 500,000, if we could get a grantor to help us with half of that cost. But we can't talk about how we need a commercial kitchen anymore. We need to move that direction. And so, like I said, we are going to have SodaStream do up some drawings so we can get some estimated costs. So if we do go out for grants, we'll actually be able to say, this is the cost. Keenan and I in the next couple weeks are gonna go out to the different storages to look at what the district purchased in years prior for a kitchen. We think there's like a dishwasher out there, a hot cart, a stove. The big reason that we can start looking at upgrade is because we have the power upgrade. And so I'm just not willing anymore to wait because I don't want to be the person that gets the phone call from Corvallis that says we no longer have to do it. And we want to, as you all saw, we're getting charged $38,000. If we can actually get rid of that particular fee, that would put us down in a range that's more manageable. And so Eric and Kaylee are actually signed up to do some training with ODE this summer. But Chris Quaka, he wants to really, BCF really wants to be out here. He told me if this grant came up next year at this time, they would be able to do it. They just don't have the capacity right now. And so, but he does not want Elsie to think that BCF is not wanting to move out here. So he is really willing to help us push on looking at funding to get this commercial kitchen. And so, like I said, our hope is by the fall, we will have some numbers. And then my ultimate dream would be is as we do the seismic retrofit, we add the commercial in that construction or that kitchen into the construction project. And so, like I said, Keenan's doing numbers right now. He and I are really sitting down to think about those pieces. So I was disappointed, but I do understand where BCF is coming from. But Chris is not, in fact, he emailed me today and he's like, let's start getting Elsie on the list so we can start looking for grantors. So.
All right, you don't need to vote or anything on this one.
Nope,
correct?
I just wanted to give you an update.
All right, thank you for that. All right, so we are not on first readings of policies. There's a batch of second readings. Thank you so much in advance for having us kind of go through them during the first reading side of it, so we could just look at the corrections, adjustments on second reading. We can approve these in one large batch for second reading unless any of the board members would like to remove any for further discussion or discuss individually.
After the last board meeting, there were questions. Did you all get that email that I okay. And I know Laura and Roxy have been reading these, like they almost are cross-eyed.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
almost
looked at the
cross-eyed
ones that
too.
we had discussed in the
Mhm.
previous board meeting, everything looks.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good. They've been literally reading them for like, I see Laura in
can't even
offices. Yeah.
I can't imagine reading them, much less writing. So.
Yeah.
Like, wow. When you said that, it made my whole night. You could vote for them. I will make a motion to approve all the second readings as written.
Okay,
Is that good enough?
Yeah.
I'll second that motion.
all right, there's a motion and a second to approve all policies under the second reading with corrections. Any discussion? All right, go ahead, Laura.
Jamie,
Yes.
Soren,
Yes.
Christine,
Yes,
Russ.
Yes.
motion passes.
Amen.
Thank you for all the work on that, you guys.
Yeah, that was intense. Intense.
I did like how we did that also where we kind of discussed things first reading, so then we didn't have to discuss them second reading and come back for a third reading. Anywho, okay, that being said, that we go straight into board comments. Jamie, I know you have one this evening, so you want to go ahead and kick us off with board comments or discussion?
I'm just kind of curious what our role is and expectation is at graduation. I know in the past the board has sat on the stage. I'm just curious what my obligation is.
I have emailed Mr. Rothenberger and Kayla to ask that question because I am not sure. So yes, as soon as I get that email, I will forward it along to you all.
Yeah.
To make sure I'm breathing, that's your obligation.
Any other board comments? I was just thinking through all of the work that's happening. I know we're not at the end of the school year yet, but I feel like the last couple of years we've gotten to this point and it's been filled with contention and frustration, and you could cut the tension in the room as board members and the community. And I just am so proud of everybody, the staff, the administration, us as boards, the students, the community. I'm just really proud of where we're at today. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for that.
Well, thanks for the great leadership, both of you. Kristen or Steve. It's made it easy.
We're all learning together.
Yep.
Okay. Any future agenda items?
I believe I discussed with you one-on-one, but I'd like to put it
Oh.
out here that I would like to take a look at the travel policy and chaperone policy.
So like anything in specific? Anything, would you like to meet with Chris on that one-on-one and then? bring
I
it
need
for board
I need to
discussion,
go
or-
back and find the
Is-
meeting and of which it was changed that I had some concerns and frustrations with, then bring them forward. for
Is it a
discussion.
district policy you're talking about or a policy in general?
I'm not certain because when it came across, I was not in the seat that I am in now. and
Okay.
Completely uneducated to the level I am now, being
Right,
behind this
important
table.
work.
Yeah.
So I need to go back and find where that
Okay,
happened.
Okay,
I had some major concerns with that
okay.
change, and so I want to make sure that we make it a priority to
Can I
take a
ask
look
a
at it.
question real quick? Is this the change that occurred for overnight trips only needing to come to the board if they go out of state?
Yes.
You're gonna look back into 2022, I think in the November, December, January timeframe.
Okay.
Spring.
Well, I'm thinking like like January 23, maybe, like in that area, just to focus your effort. I think that's where we're at. And then can I ask that you and Kristen meet and kind of talk through what you want to present to the board and then. go from
Yeah.
there?
Okay.
All right. With that, I'm gonna go through a list of key dates really quick and then we will move to adjournment. So we have prom on Friday. Congratulations to all of our beautiful high schoolers. I'll be dressing up and enjoying that. May 21st is gonna be our budget meeting in the library here at 6 p.m. May 30th is gonna be our senior banquet at 6 p.m. May 7th is our graduation at 7 p.m. Please come and celebrate these kids that have worked so hard in their academic career. June 11th is going to be our 6th, 7th, and 8th graders awards nights and promotion, 6 p.m. June 13th is the last day of school. We will not have a regular board meeting that night. We're going to move that to June 20th. It would also be Russ's 29th birthday. All right, with that, we can go ahead and adjourn at 2028. Thank you, everybody.
It's the big 50.
I wasn't going to say
I gotta run because otherwise. So,
Have a great
I love you guys. It's
evening.
surely not because I don't want to be here. It's the babies. The babies.
Tell her thank you for your time.
Hey, am I supposed to be that presentation next week?
Yes,
Yep.
Do you want us to put it online?
I know.
it's 6 p.m. Are you sure? Text it.
Maybe.
Actually, we talked to
What
Laura.
is that, 6?
Will you message Laura if you want an online option?
No, last time it was just like, I didn't